wise man once said, controversy creates cash. But then also said man once got thrown in like the back of a garbage truck by Vince McMahon dressed like a judge.
That happened.
Welcome to the Money in the Bank review.
You know, controversy creates cash. Money in the Bank gets cashed in. I guess it all makes sense. Sort of.
Yeah, except for the fact that the pay-per-view really didn't. One of the most sensical matches of the night was the pre-show match.
Yeah. One of two matches that didn't end in...
Controversial fashion? Or, you know, at least regular fashion?
We could say that Mojo got handed a win. That could be controversial.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to say it's a controversial one because Zack Ryder was the one that won
That's
the
true.
match.
Zack Ryder won his return match. That's a good thing.
They sounds kind of gross. They hype rode the colognes to a victory. Or at least one of them.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they did.
One of them got ridden until all the way to Victory Town.
It's just
Hype Riders.
It gets worse. The
Hype Riders are still #1 contenders.
Hype Riders?
Whatever they're called.
Hype Bros.
I don't even remember anymore.
Yeah, that was the
I'm
thing.
lost. They're still #1 contenders in my book. Let's just call it how it is.
Zack Ryder got hurt when they won their #1 contendership spot in the battle.
Literally in the spot that won them the match.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They're still #1 contenders. Then we opened up the actual pay-per-view with the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which then means that y'all know by default I lose. Because
yes,
my whole vote revolved around the fact that the opening match would be Naomi versus Lana.
Yeah.
So no, we just had the 5 ladies. Natalya, Tamina, Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Charlotte. And
the match was great.
The match was really good.
I think they all did a great job in most... I mean, I would only think that out of the 5 of them, maybe Becky had been in a ladder match somewhere. But all the rest of them, maybe Natalya.
I'd be shocked.
But I think the majority, with most of them being just WWE bred women, I can't imagine they were ever in a ladder match.
Yeah. I want to say right off the bat, thank you very much for letting the opening 4 minutes of this match belong to Tamina.
She beat the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah. Everybody went out to get ladders, so she kind of kept her space in the ring and knocked everybody down, brought a ladder in, and then she started coming up, she got brought down a little bit, and there started to be some more fight, and then she started Samoan dropping everybody.
Yep.
Got a really good advantage at first, and for the first time in a long time, I felt like Tamina was a viable threat.
Yeah, and that's something that she's desperately needed because she's had so much time off due to injuries and whatever else, and it's just it's hard to get behind someone when they don't have that moment.
Yeah.
And this was a good moment for Tamina.
Yeah, everybody kind of had their moment.
Everybody
in the match.
did great stuff through this match.
Yeah.
I appreciated everybody's spot.
And nobody in particular seemed to fear the ladders,
which was great.
Which is a good plus, especially when you're going into a moment where it's one of those things that you're okay, here's 5 people who, if you're a betting person, you'd say have highly likely that none of these people have ever actually been in a ladder match before.
Yeah.
Throw 800 ladders around the ring and see what happens.
Yeah. Carmella was the only one that ever actually had problems because she kept trying to hold the big one and was almost clotheslining herself with the support beam in the middle.
Yeah, the little hinge.
Yeah. And she had a cool little one where she actually crawled on the support hinge, which was new in a ladder match because most guys would just break that thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I liked everybody's spot in this match, except for James Ellsworth.
Yeah.
don't get us wrong. We're not upset that Carmella won.
No. And I'm going to be completely 100% honest in my feelings about James Ellsworth right now. I don't think he gets enough attention. They really should be doing a lot more with him as Carmella's number 2.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think this was them trying to do that. But
And, we're not blaming James Ellsworth.
And it was just wrong place, wrong time.
This is a bad creative decision.
Yeah.
This isn't Carmella's fault. It's not James Ellsworth's fault. It's simply the idea that they decided to run with, especially with this being the first ever women's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, this is legitimately the first time, I'm pretty sure, the first time WWE's ever put women in a ladder match.
Yes. As
to
far
my recollection.
Unless you count Lita getting involved in TLC.
Yeah. An actual women's ladder match.
Yeah, I don't think there's been tables matches. We had all the stuff, leading up to this with the cage match, the Hell in a Cell, Falls Count Anywhere, stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure this is the first women's ladder match.
Yeah.
If you know different, post in the comments. But yeah, James Ellsworth ends up screwing over Becky Lynch, which was my pick, going up, and he takes the briefcase off and drops it down to Carmella. And I liked that we had a whole moment where the referees were debating whether or not...
Yeah, there was 3 referees there, and one of them seemed foursquare that was it. Carmella had the briefcase. One of them was foursquare against it, James Ellsworth's not involved in the match, it shouldn't count. And then the other referee was just kind of in between going, well, I see your point, but I also see your point.
Yeah.
What do we do? And then James Ellsworth's like, fuck all 3 of you. I'm going to announce Carmella the winner. He's also a referee.
It's great heel points for Carmella and James Ellsworth. But the fact that, James Ellsworth got to say that was official, that's when the music started, that's when the celebration started, and that was it. The referees, for some reason, had no say at that point.
Well, I think one of the commentators tried to cover it a little bit, after the next match, when they kind of started talking about it again, that the bell rang.
Yeah.
So one of the referees definitively called that the match was over.
True.
So I think what it was Ellsworth trying to make sure they get the hell out of Dodge before
any changes could be made.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But we do know that Daniel Bryan is returning to SmackDown on Tuesday.
And he's not happy.
And he is the first thing he's going to address is the way...
Himself.
No, not... wait, why is he going to address himself?
Oh, address. I thought you just said dress.
No. He's going to address, as in talk about or make right the situation with the women's Money in the Bank.
Yeah, and as many of the ideas that could come of this is they could redo the match, or yada yada yada, or Carmella has to defend it against somebody, Becky Lynch maybe, whatever.
She has to defend it in a fatal 5-way.
No matter what, it's not going to undo
tarnished.
The fact that the first WWE Women's Money in the Bank ladder match was essentially won by a guy.
Yeah.
It was really taking 800 steps forward and 802 steps back.
Yep.
Because, not to say that this was what WWE was trying to put forward, but to me it was oh, James Ellsworth came in because a woman couldn't win the ladder match.
Becky was going to do it until James Ellsworth got in there.
Yeah.
So neither of us got a point there.
No.
Then we moved on to our tag team title match where false finishes for days, man.
Yeah, we've seen the Usos and the New Day go before, so we knew this was going to be good.
And it was.
And it was really good. Big E
really
did his best spear through the ropes.
Yeah.
Usos
still pulling out that gnarly stomp to the knee into the Tequila Sunrise spot. which was a great desperation spot for Kofi, just constantly like trying to work towards the ropes.
Well, I thought that was going to be the finish.
I did too.
To be honest.
Yeah. Big E tried, and I give him the benefit for just keeping with it and not letting it fucking... He didn't just give up on the spot, but he was trying to catch one of the Usos out of the air and hit the big ending, but they ended up falling forward, but then he fucking powered himself through and he picked him back up and he hit it, and that wasn't the end.
And Kofi super trustfalled.
Yeah, he did. He like...
Off the top rope.
Woo! Like, YMCA'd that shit.
Air Christ.
Air Christ. They hit the midnight hour, and that didn't put him away. Just great back and forth stuff. And I would have really loved this end had we not had the controversy in the Money in the Bank just before it, because once the midnight hour happened, the Usos just said, fuck it. And they grabbed the belts and they walked away.
Yeah.
They used champion's advantage. And it's a fantastic end. And I'll give them that. But following the Money in the Bank, it was like, okay, another controversial ending. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. Let's
Yeah, it's really cool. You know, and I love, like, one of the things that with the way they went about this finish was, like, the Usos can come out on SmackDown and say, hey, what did we say? We said we're going to walk out of Money in the Bank as the tag team champions. And guess what? We walked out as the tag team champions.
And so now they've really shot themselves in the foot, because obviously Daniel Bryan and or Shane McMahon are going to side with the fact that the New Day won, so they should get another shot.
Yeah.
And the Hype Bros are still number one contenders. So now the Usos have two teams they have to contend.
Yeah, I just really hope that they don't disregard the fact that the Hype Bros won that match, because JBL even talked about it on the pay-per-view, or I think on the pre-show while the match was happening. That's like, he mentioned that Zack Ryder got injured in the match where they won the number one contender spot. So I'm really hoping that they don't try and just sweep that under the rug.
No, I definitely think that's what's going to make the Hype Bros relevant right now. Because
I think it's going to lead up to Zack Ryder heel turn and then Mojo.
I'm fine with that, because I don't think Mojo needs the spot he's in, and Zack Ryder can totally take it if he wants. We follow that with our women's championship match, Lana's very first singles match on the main roster. Taking on Naomi. I gotta say,
it started a little rough around the edges.
It wasn't the prettiest match.
Yeah, it didn't look polished by any means.
But
except for Lana, did look well polished.
Lana looked amazing. I will give Lana credit, despite the fact that she's not the strongest wrestler. She at least, she was like, she was messy, but she kept it very brawl type of a scenario where she was just trying to just ruin Naomi completely.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give her a lot of credit, because she's probably had maybe a dozen or less matches.
Yeah, I don't know how
in her career,
because she toured with NXT, and I don't know how many matches she actually did with NXT.
Yeah, she does a lot. She did a lot of one-offs during different NXT tours.
Yeah.
In Florida,
and she was testing this gimmick that she's doing now.
So, you know, for the fact that like she's actually had such little in-ring exposure, she did really good. It was kind of like, you know, like when Stephen Amell came in and did his thing.
Yeah, it was a kind of a first-time thing where it was like, you know, being on that big stage is going to add nerves to the fact that you already haven't really been in this scenario. So it's just, you know, it's a situation where you just kind of gotta fight through the nerves, fight through, you know, whatever downside you're on. And I mean, she to me personally, I'm sure there's a lot of people on the internet that are like, oh, she's the new Eva Marie. No, here's the thing. Eva Marie looked like a fish out of fucking water when she was in the ring. at least Lana looks like she kind of knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Lana used holds.
She did.
And she worked the knee really well. She did back-to-back suplexes, hitting Naomi's leg on the ropes.
She probably learned that from Drew Gulak, I'm just saying.
Possibly. She used ring psychology a little bit.
Yeah. And here's a good deal. I think the match exceeded a lot of people's expectations. I mean, they even played it up on commentary. JBL said, I thought this match was only going to last maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Lana did really good for her first televised singles match.
Yeah.
Being on a pay-per-view.
And like we said, it wasn't the prettiest match.
No.
Like, it was, there were some really ugly spots in this match.
And it was really good because she had that, mindset of keep going for pins.
Yeah.
Because it's a good way to make it look like you're trying to win the match, one, but also it puts you in a good communication spot with the other person.
Yeah. Well, and I think, the desperation, I think, looks good on a person who hasn't had that many matches.
Anything looks good on Lana. Just saying.
That's fair. That is fair. But I mean, in a wrestling capacity, constantly going for pins looks like, even if you are as novice as Lana is to wrestling, having her constantly go for pins, like she hits something, she immediately goes for a pin. She does something very simple, but she goes for a pin. It's her, kind of building that knowledge of what will and what won't finish a match.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be Money in the Bank without controversy.
Yeah, so Lana hits her finish.
Yes.
That sit-out spinebuster. Naomi kicks out, but then Carmella comes out with James Ellsworth and another referee, and they go all the way around to the timekeeper's area where the ring announcer is, and they kind of tease that there's going to be a cash-in. Then Carmella says no, and she signals over to Lana, who now looks kind of pissed off.
Yeah.
Because Carmella's drawing all... And I think a lot of this is like, Lana's pissed off because Carmella's drawing the attention away from her.
Absolutely.
But Carmella keeps going like, no, you go finish the match, do what you're doing, just do what, pay attention.
And so Lana tries.
Yeah, and so there's a decent amount of time for Naomi to catch her wind.
Mm-hmm.
Lana goes for that set-out spinebuster one more time, but Naomi's able to hop over her and crawl into a sunset flip and turn it into her submission hold.
Yeah, her full Nelson with her legs submission hold. And she gets Lana to tap out.
Yeah. So we've had the James Ellsworth grabs the Money in the Bank briefcase for Carmella.
Mm-hmm.
We've had the Usos walk out of their tag team title match. And now we've had Carmella. Essentially, you could argue that Carmella screwed Lana.
Yeah. She distracted her long enough to lose to Naomi.
Oh, I'd pay to see that. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you did. That's on the
damn.
internet forever. Then we had...
There are a lot of things I've said that are on the internet
That's
forever.
true.
Like,
Then we
fuck
had
Titus O'Neil.
Fashion Vice.
Yeah, which was the highlight of the show so far.
So far.
Now, I loved the Law and Order shtick. The detective shtick was kind of funny.
I like that they're just constantly changing to different types of...
Yeah, I think now, though, it's becoming a parody of itself.
Well, it would eventually anyway. I think there's only so much you can do in that vein. I mean, you have to change it up eventually, otherwise it just gets stale.
Yeah.
Now it's just...
I just think it's going too rapidly.
Well. So yeah, we had a very Miami Vice version of Fashion Police.
Yeah.
They got a...
With no Mr. Fuji, though.
No.
Not Fuji Vice, which is...
Well, Mr. Fuji died, so...
Yeah, but, I mean, that was one of the other reasons why I didn't like it, is because they already did Fuji Vice. Well, you ain't gonna top that.
Well, they're not.
Mr. Fuji and Don Morocco.
Tyler Breeze and Fandango.
Oh, I would have laughed so hard if Don Morocco made like a cameo in that.
Anyway, so they ended up getting a fax that said answer the door. Tyler Breeze answered the door. There was a videotape that said watch
Tyler
me.
Breeze was scared of the modem.
Yes. Yeah, he freaked out, pulled his gun. They found
Don't squirt the fax machine. You could ruin it.
Yeah. You know, fax machine is the new technology. It's going to sweep the nation.
Yeah, did you get that fax I sent back in the 90s?
So they get the tape that says watch me, and they put it in because they have a TV with a VCR built in.
I had one of those.
Yeah, I had one of those too. They put it in, and the tape is a couple of silhouettes with deepened voices saying, hey, you know, we're the ones that attacked you, and if you want to find out who we are, you'll have to meet us in the ring later. And so, later on, we had
Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton for the championship.
Well, that came first. But before that, Mike and Maria Kanellis.
Yeah.
This was a thing.
This
I mean,
this is my new favorite theme song.
The cheesy 80s ballad.
Oh my god.
Mike Bennett just completely emasculated at this point.
The fact that it's going to be very obvious that Maria is the so-called pants of the relationship.
Oh, yeah. No, watching the evolution of this couple, the fact that they were, you know, very much a power couple in Ring of Honor, part of the Kingdom, then they left and they had a very failed sort of gimmick thing, because I think Maria ended up taking over as far as their TNA run is concerned, and so now they're just running that, and Maria's like, I've been in WWE before, this is where I started, this is what we're doing, and Mike's like, cool, going for it.
Yeah, here's the one thing the look of the whole thing, when Mike Bennett's in a blazer, he looks so much smaller.
He does.
He looked like if Kurt Hawkins was a Bachelor contestant.
A little bit. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm excited because I'm a Mike Bennett fan.
We're definitely Maria fans.
I hope this means like Maria will actually wrestle.
Maybe. She did a little bit in Ring of Honor, and then I think she had a couple of matches in TNA, so
you know,
we'll see what happens.
because I mean, she was fairly heavily involved towards the end of her WWE run.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping we're gonna add a little new / old blood into the women's division on SmackDown.
Yeah. Some more.
SmackDown is the way that they bring in former women's wrestlers for WWE before they move them back over to Raw. For
I definitely think Maria is going to be in a much better situation than Mickey.
Yeah. But she's not playing second fiddle to Alexa Bliss.
That's true.
So
she's playing first fiddle to Mike Bennett.
No,
I mean Mike Kanellis.
Oh man, I wanted cannoli.
I'm sure they're going to be on SmackDown. We'll talk more about that on Tuesday.
I'm excited.
Do you want to talk about Fashion Police versus their attackers real quick and just get it out of the way?
It was the Ascension.
Go figure. The other tag team that isn't American Alpha on the SmackDown roster.
Yeah, here's what I'm going to give. I don't think WWE's written off the Ascension all the way yet.
Ooh, real close.
Because the Fashion Police won via a roll-up.
Controversy. No.
They didn't have like a big clean.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't a super definitive. We just hit a big finishing move.
Yeah, they didn't hit the last dance. They didn't hit the supermodel kick or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'll give them that, but boy, the Ascension, you had build up and you still fucking lost. That's rough.
Before that, we had the championship match.
Yes, Jinder Mahal defending against Randy Orton in Randy Orton's hometown with all of Randy Orton's legends at ringside. We had Greg Gagne, we had Larry the Axe Hennig, we had
Baron von Raschke.
Yeah, that guy. We had
Sergeant Slaughter.
Bob Orton, of course, and Ric Flair.
Woo! And I think there was a seat next to Rick that would have been Harley Race's
Yes.
seat.
And we said get well soon to Harley Race, who's still dealing with broken legs after a nasty fall at home.
Say it.
You know how hard this is, right?
It couldn't have been that hard because you said it like 4 times during the match while it was happening.
Yeah, but that was just to you. This is to the internet. I liked what Jinder did.
And he's saying
All of it.
just to specify, he's saying Jinder with a J, not Tinder. He's not talking about he's liking what they did with the last Tinder update.
No, I tried Tinder. Tinder sucks.
He's talking about Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal
did good.
was, dare I say, great in this match.
Ooh. Ooh, you gave him a better adjective than I did.
He worked Randy Orton's leg like a fucking pro.
Yeah.
Well,
he is a professional wrestler.
That's true. The fact, I love how Randy sells. Randy is very good at, keeping that injury very prominent during matches.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jinder was really hammering home what he was doing. He was, dropping the knee on it. He was doing the spinning toe hold.
Yeah.
He was
did the figure 4.
the figure 4, all that stuff was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He did so good.
Is Jinder Mahal winning you over with this title run?
Yeah, it's weird. This is WrestleMania 31 all over again. Weird.
Cheering for Hogan and booing Shawn.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it, but I do like it. It's, ugh.
Well, to be fair, you said you'd give Jinder the benefit of the doubt.
I did, and he needed something for me to, grab onto. And the fact that he has made this title run so beneficial to himself.
Yeah.
He hasn't wasted a moment. It's been great to watch him do that.
Yeah.
And Randy is
The Ram Robinson.
that's Mickey Rourke. Different dude.
Bad at this game.
Randy Orton.
Thank you, by the way.
Yeah.
Emphasizing that T.
Randy Orton.
Fuck off.
Randy Orton is doing a great job of pushing Jinder.
Yeah.
And making him look like $1 million.
Yeah. So, Orton. Let me say it that way.
Orton.
Randy Orton was in the driver's seat for a good portion of the match after Jinder beat the shit out of him for a minute.
Yeah.
Randy is making a comeback. Looked like he's going to have the definitive win on Jinder until the referee caught that the Bollywood boys or the Singh brothers or two angry tiny lawyers
Samir, Gurv, and Harv, whatever their fucking names are.
grabbed Jinder's foot and put it on the bottom rope.
Yes. Yeah, because Randy hit an RKO.
Was it an RKO?
I'm pretty sure he hit the RKO, and that was it. Everyone's like, oh well, that's gonna be the end right there. And yeah, the ref caught them putting the
ref caught
foot
them
on ropes.
red-handed.
Yeah. Literally, he had Jinder's boot in his hand.
In the best twist that these guys could have taken it, they start asking for the referee to disqualify Jinder
because
Mahal.
Randy sees what's about to happen, and he goes, no, don't disqualify, don't do it, just throw them out, I don't care, do whatever you gotta do, just keep this match going. And then they start going, no, disqualify us, please disqualify us.
And the ref decides that he's not going to disqualify him, he's going to eject them from ringside. They are about to leave, and then they decide to go laugh in the faces of the legends.
They took a left turn by the old folks' home.
Yeah, and then it looks like they're about
shit.
to leave, and then one of them whispered in the other one's ear,
Like
a light bulb went off.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And they ran over, and they both grabbed Bob Orton by a lapel apiece.
And Ric Flair's like,
Ric
motherfucker.
Flair hopped up faster than he is moved in like 4 years.
4 or 5 years, something like that.
Like last time he hopped up that fast, I'm pretty sure Triple H was inviting him out to a strip club.
Probably.
Said, Nate, if you come with me, I'm gonna buy you a new wife.
Woo!
That prompted Orton to go out and rain hellfire and brimstone upon the Singh brothers in the way that only Randy Orton can.
True
Because,
St. Louis anarchy.
like, boy, oh boy, does he love using the Singh brothers like crash test dummies.
I mean, you could have put up a graphic that said, remember Backlash, because, Jesus, like, he even did the whole, like, release suplex onto the table that he, like, cringed at Backlash, and
Yeah.
then he followed it up.
He did an RKO on the outside to one of them, to which he had to cringe again, but this time is because he hurt himself.
Well, yeah, RKO on the outside doesn't feel good.
And then to the other one, got an RKO through one of the announce tables.
Well, that's one way to do it. But then, very much like Backlash, after RKOing one on the floor and one of them through a table, sliding back in the ring does set you up for the Colossus.
Yeah, Jinder. Here's what my favorite part of the whole ending segment is the first thing that happens when Randy Orton gets into the ring. Jinder kicked him in the leg.
Yeah.
Jinder kicked him in the bad leg that was worked over the whole match, then hit his finish.
Yep.
So, not just like using a distracted Randy Orton to set up for the move, we actually had to bring the whole thing full circle around, going, oh yeah, that leg is hurt.
Yep.
Kick.
Taking
You
advantage
didn't see
of
it
the
under the
injury.
table, but I did a kick no
Yeah.
with my foot.
So again, a win with controversy.
Yes.
And my first point of the entire show. It's 1-0 at this point.
And we're heading into the main event.
Heading into the main event.
The main event, the Money in the Bank ladder match, AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn versus Dolph Ziggler versus not Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin.
Yeah, because Baron Corbin attacked Shinsuke during his entrance. And yeah, he beat the shit out of him with a ladder up on the stage. And
then he marched to the ring, and then we had that same like over-the-shoulder vantage point of the three referees like talking to each other.
yeah, like he's supposed to be in the match. Like,
We're gonna do this just 5 people, I guess.
Well, I mean,
okay.
I thought it was supposed to be
Bang,
6.
bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, and off to the races we went. 5 guys beating the shit
Burgers
out
and
of
fries.
You do that every time I say that.
It's not gonna stop.
I didn't think so. Yeah, no, we just frenzy at this point. It was. I mean,
Yeah.
we had some great spots. It started off a little slow, and there were some messy spots.
Yeah.
But overall, they recovered really well, and they got the crowd into it.
Here's one of my biggest issues
Okay.
with the fact that they took Shinsuke out of the match.
Yeah.
And also with the fact that you're doing like the Money in the Bank, which I think the first one had 6 people, right? The very first one.
I believe so.
And then
I'll look that up.
and they just they kept adding more and more people to them, to the point where they had like 8-person Money in the Bank matches and stuff.
Yeah, I
They
think
had
the
8
biggest
ones
the
and
biggest
7
one
ones.
the biggest one had like 8 or 9 people.
Yeah. The less people you have in it, the more superhero everyone looks.
Yeah.
Which to me is a slight detriment to the match, because you would have a spot like Baron Corbin chokeslams AJ Styles onto a ladder on the outside.
Right.
But then it's literally like maybe 2 minutes later and AJ Styles is back in the ring.
Yeah. There were 6 people in the first one.
Yeah, but then it's like, with taking hardly any time to recover, AJ Styles is back in the ring, stopping the next person from coming down. When you have more people in the match like that, it makes it more easy to plaus that somebody else could come in and stop the next person.
And you're absolutely right. That they would have benefited more having Shinsuke in the entire match.
Yeah. That being said, Shinsuke did come back out during the match.
We called about 8 different times when he was going to come back, and none of them fucking happened.
No, well, I said it was going to be the first time Baron looked like he was about to win.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
Yeah.
I was also really, really hoping for the end of days off of a ladder.
Yeah.
Never happened.
We didn't actually have any moves off of a ladder except for the phenomenal forearm.
Well, Sami Zayn's sunset flip powerbomb on Dolph Ziggler.
And we kind of had a super zigzag.
We had
off the second rung. It's a little.
I think it was like
it's
one foot on the bottom rung, 1 foot on the second
It's
rung.
higher than the floor.
It was slightly above average zigzag. It was super in the way that Tony Chimmel is super awkward.
Yes. The choke slam from Baron Corbin to AJ on the ladder on the outside was great.
AJ giving Kevin Owens John Cena's finishing move onto a ladder on the outside.
No, that was gnarly.
I was gonna straight up and say it. That's what it was. He was Cena's finish.
That's exactly what it was. It was.
That's why Cena's coming back as a free agent. He's
Yep.
like, fuck, he's using my move. I'm going to Raw.
It's gonna kick everybody's ass. But yeah, so when Baron Corbin, had that moment where he was about to climb, this was stupid.
Yeah, it's that moment that does make Baron look less than the smartest.
It happens in wrestling way too often where there's like so much time that a person could use
to do something
and they don't.
constructive.
It's the moment in wrestling where you have to suspend disbelief.
Yeah.
And so Shinsuke, holding his shoulder, walks out to the ring, and Baron's like freaking out. He's like, I can't believe it. What am I gonna? I'm gonna throw the fucking ladder at him. So he throws the ladder.
The ladder I'm about to climb up to win the match.
I can win the match right now, but what do I want to do? I'm gonna hook this thing at Shinsuke.
I'm gonna throw the winning object out of the ring.
Yeah. So Shinsuke doesn't actually like duck under the ladder. Baron just throws it over his head. Shinsuke gets in. Kinshasa's fucking everybody.
Except AJ Styles.
Except AJ Styles. Who then, and that was the best part. Is
the best camera work of the whole match.
He hits Kinshasa's on everyone. And he drags the ladder back over, gets it into position, and like grabs onto it like he's about to climb. And then the camera pans, and AJ's on the other side, staring him down through the rungs of the ladder.
Yeah, and then we have this moment where everyone's like, oh, they're both going to climb up and start fighting. And instead, they both just moved the ladder over to the side and just started going down.
And there was a great moment, like, as they moved the ladder, everyone just kind of went, ooh.
Yeah, the place hushed.
Yeah, and then it was just a great, just back and forth battle between AJ and Shinsuke. They fought back and forth, and eventually they were the ones fighting at the top of the ladder after they had this big moment. I think there was a few other people came in, and then the ladder got set up again. And they went back up, and it was like they started just regular fight, and they finished that battle at the top of the ladder. But it was Baron Corbin who finished the battle all himself as he tipped the ladder over. Both AJ and Shinsuke go face first onto the top rope. He sets the ladder back up. Baron Corbin is Mr. Money in the Bank.
Yep. Baron Corbin will now be the second man in the history of Money in the Bank to have his time at the top of the ladder conveniently edited for the network.
Well, I don't think it'll be edited nearly as heavily as Swagger.
No, well, I mean, neither of them you can say are edited heavily. It's literally just chopping out point A to point B.
Yeah.
And getting rid of it. Swagger's was still the longest.
Yes.
But Baron Corbin was visibly uncomfortable.
Swagger fumbled. Corbin was terrified.
Corbin looked visibly uncomfortable at the top of the ladder.
He needed to go up just one more step, but he wasn't gonna fucking do it.
No.
Not a chance.
So he had to reach and try and feel the little C-clip up there.
Yeah.
To see if he could undo it.
Yeah. Which he did. So that gave me my second and final point 2-0. Money in the Bank.
Man, we schooled this one.
Controversy.
Yeah, all the matches were...
I mean...
except for the opener and the closer. Every match in between, it was a controversy sandwich.
Just...
on clean finished bread.
And what else can we say other than thanks for watching our Money in the Bank review.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Click the links down in the
There's
description.
a lot of links down there.
Check out the podcast.
That's one of the links.
Check out Reasonable Wrestling Fans.
That's Reasonable the W.
Like wrestling. And we're going to be having all of our regular videos this week, so be sure to check them all out. But for now, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
Fuck Mojo Raleigh.